Step back in time to New Orleans of the 1830s, a city where the air is thick with the scent of magnolias and the murmurs of the Mississippi River. This era was a vibrant mosaic of cultures, where French sophistication mingled with the raw vitality of the American frontier. In the heart of this bustling metropolis, Madame Delphine Lalaurie, born Marie Delphine McCarty, reigned as a glittering jewel of high society. A Creole socialite, she was known for her beauty, wealth, and influential connections. Her life, set against the backdrop of opulent mansions and lavish soirees, painted a picture of the quintessential Southern belle. But beneath the glamour and genteel facades, New Orleans was a city grappling with deep-seated contradictions. It was a place where the grandeur of European heritage collided with the harsh realities of slavery. The chasm between the free and the enslaved, the rich and the poor, marked the social landscape of the city. As we peel away the layers of time, we find in Delphine Lalaurie a complex character, a woman who embodies the spirit of an era that was as elegant as it was brutal. Her story, interwoven with the fabric of New Orleans, offers a glimpse into a world of contrasts, beauty shadowed by darkness, refinement marred by cruelty. So, let us delve into the life of Delphine Lalaurie and the city of New Orleans in the 1830s. A journey into a chapter of history that still whispers its tales through the cobblestone streets and the grand old mansions of the French Quarter. Delphine Lalaurie, a name etched in the annals of New Orleans history, was born as Marie Delphine McCarty in 1787, into a world of privilege and societal prominence. Her lineage was one of the most respected in the Creole community, a testament to her family's deep roots and influential standing in the burgeoning city. Her life unfolded like a carefully orchestrated play, with each act bringing her closer to the pinnacle of New Orleans high society. Delphine's journey through matrimony began at the tender age of 13, when she married Don Ramon de Lopez y Angulo, a high-ranking officer in the Spanish Royal Navy. This union not only elevated her social status but also introduced her to a life of opulence and influence. Her second marriage to Jean Blanc, a notable banker, merchant, and legislator, further cemented her position in the social stratosphere. Together, they navigated the complex tapestry of New Orleans elite, their home becoming a hub of extravagant gatherings and sophisticated soirees. The final and most significant chapter of her matrimonial saga was with Leonard Louis Nicolas Lalaurie. This marriage brought forth the infamous Lalaurie mansion, a symbol of their wealth and stature. It was here, in this grand abode, that Delphine's role as a prominent figure in high society was solidified. The mansion was not merely a home, it was a stage upon which the Lalauries showcased their affluence and power. Yet, behind the grand balls and glittering receptions, a different story was unfolding. One that would reveal the stark contrast between the public persona of Delphine Lalaurie and the chilling reality of her private life. In exploring Delphine Lalaurie's background and family life, we uncover a narrative of complexity and contradiction. A story of a woman who navigated the heights of societal grandeur, while harboring secrets that would ultimately lead to her infamy. In the heart of New Orleans' historic French Quarter stands the Lalaurie Mansion, a structure that has become a symbol of both grandeur and infamy. Erected in 1832, this magnificent edifice was more than a mere residence. It was a testament to the wealth and status of Delphine Lalaurie and her husband, Leonard Louis Nicolas Lalaurie. Architecturally, the Lalaurie Mansion is a stunning example of Creole elegance blended with American influences. Its impressive facade, adorned with ironwork balconies and large French windows, exudes a sense of dignity and grace. The mansion's design reflects the cultural melting pot that was New Orleans in the 19th century, a city where European architectural styles met the New World sensibilities. Within its walls, the Lalaurie Mansion was the epitome of luxury and refinement. Its spacious ballroom, lavish parlors, and ornately decorated chambers were the settings of some of the most extravagant social events in the city. Here, the elite of New Orleans society would gather, drawn by the allure of the Lalauries' opulent lifestyle and their prominent place in the social hierarchy. Yet, this grandeur was not just a display of wealth, it was a symbol of power and influence in a city where social standing was everything. The mansion stood as a physical embodiment of the Lalaurie status, a towering presence in the social landscape of New Orleans. But as history would reveal, the Lalaurie Mansion's elegant exterior belied a darker truth, one that lay hidden behind its stately walls. This iconic structure, which once represented the pinnacle of social success, would soon become synonymous with the deepest horrors of Delphine Lalaurie's legacy. In exploring the Lalaurie Mansion, we delve into a story of contrasts, beauty juxtaposed with brutality, opulence shadowing a ghastly reality. It is a tale that captures the essence of New Orleans' complex history, a city where the most exquisite facades often hide the most harrowing secrets. Amidst the splendor of the Lalaurie Mansion, whispers and rumors began to circulate amongst the locals of New Orleans. These whispers painted a starkly different picture of the grand residence and its mistress, Delphine Lalaurie. It was said that behind the mansion's opulent facade, a sinister reality lurked, particularly concerning the treatment of slaves. The tales that seeped from the mansion's walls spoke of strange and unsettling occurrences. Neighbors and passers-by reported hearing muffled screams and cries, especially at night. There were accounts of slaves who appeared at social events bearing marks of severe mistreatment, only to vanish inexplicably soon after. These rumors were fueled by the high rate of slave turnover at the Lalaurie residence. Slaves seemed to come and go with unsettling frequency, a pattern that did not go unnoticed by those in the community. Whispers turned into hushed conversations about what Madame Lalaurie could be hiding within the confines of her luxurious home. Despite her high standing in society, the dark murmurs surrounding Delphine Lalaurie began to raise eyebrows and breed suspicion. The townsfolk began to wonder if the grandeur of the Lalaurie mansion was merely a veneer, concealing a much more gruesome reality. However, in a society where the mistreatment of slaves was tragically commonplace, these rumors remained just that, whispers in the wind. It would take a catastrophic event to bring the true horror of what lay inside the Lalaurie mansion to light. A pivotal moment in the story of Delphine Lalaurie and her mansion came on April 10, 1834, when a fire broke out in the grand residence. This fire, which started in the kitchen, would become the catalyst that unveiled the horrific secrets hidden within the mansion's walls. As flames engulfed the building, the local community rushed to the scene, eager to help extinguish the blaze and save one of the city's most notable landmarks. However, what they encountered was far beyond what any of them could have anticipated. Eyewitness accounts from that fateful day describe a scene of chaos and confusion. As the firefighters and neighbors navigated through the smoke and debris, they made a gruesome discovery. In a small, attic room, hidden away from the opulent living spaces, were several of the Lalaurie's slaves. The conditions they were found in were appalling and inhumane, a stark contrast to the luxury that adorned the rest of the mansion. These slaves, according to reports from the time, were bound, showing signs of prolonged torture and maltreatment. The revelation was shocking to the onlookers, many of whom had known the Lalauries as pillars of the community. The discovery of this torture chamber within the Lalaurie mansion sent ripples of horror throughout New Orleans. The fire, which had initially drawn the community together in a bid to save a neighbor's property, had inadvertently exposed a sinister truth that had been lurking beneath the surface. The image of the Lalaurie mansion, once a symbol of wealth and status, was now irrevocably tarnished, replaced by a legacy of cruelty and inhumanity. In this section, we delve into the chilling events of the fire and the discovery that would forever change the narrative surrounding Delphine Lalaurie and her mansion. It was a moment that brought to light the dark secrets of a seemingly respectable member of New Orleans high society, revealing a reality that was as horrifying as it was unbelievable. In the aftermath of the fire that ravaged the Lalaurie mansion, a horrifying discovery was made that would etch the name Lalaurie into the annals of infamy. In a small, hidden attic room, a torture chamber was uncovered, revealing the shocking extent of Madame Delphine Lalaurie's cruelty. According to historical records and eyewitness accounts, the scene that confronted the rescuers was nightmarish. The slaves found in the chamber bore horrifying signs of prolonged and unimaginable torture. Reports from that time detail that some were chained to the walls, others confined in small cages, and many showed evidence of brutal physical abuse. The details of what was found are deeply disturbing. It was reported that some of the victims had been subjected to crude surgical experiments, others were found with limbs broken and reset at odd angles, and some had been left to starve in their bonds. The extent of the inhumanity displayed in this hidden chamber was shocking even in an era accustomed to the harsh realities of slavery. The discovery of the torture chamber within the Lalaurie mansion sent shockwaves through New Orleans society. It shattered the image of Delphine Lalaurie as a refined socialite, revealing her instead as a perpetrator of unspeakable cruelty. The accounts of what was found in that attic room spread rapidly, transforming public perception and igniting a wave of horror and disgust. In recounting the details of the torture chamber, it is crucial to approach this subject with the utmost sensitivity. The suffering endured by the victims in that room is a stark reminder of the darkest aspects of human nature and a tragic chapter in the history of New Orleans. This section delves into the grim reality of what lay hidden within the walls of the Lalaurie mansion, a reality that stands in stark contrast to the outward appearance of civility and elegance. It is a poignant reminder of the atrocities that can occur behind closed doors, hidden from public view. The revelation of the atrocities committed in the Lalaurie mansion sent shockwaves through the streets of New Orleans. As word of the gruesome discovery spread, the city's residents were engulfed by a wave of anger and disbelief. The public, who had once viewed Delphine Lalaurie as a pillar of high society, now saw her in a horrifyingly new light. In the hours and days following the fire, a palpable sense of outrage grew among the townspeople. This culminated in the formation of a mob, fueled by a collective desire for justice. The citizens of New Orleans, horrified by the extent of Lalaurie's cruelty, gathered outside the smoldering remains of the mansion, their anger boiling over. The mob's reaction was a stark display of vigilante justice. They ransacked what was left of the mansion, tearing apart the symbol of wealth and status that had once stood as a proud feature of the French Quarter. Their actions were driven by a deep sense of betrayal and a burning need to right the wrongs that had been hidden behind the mansion's grand facade. Meanwhile, the Lalaurie family faced the immediate consequences of the discovery. Delphine Lalaurie, realizing the gravity of the situation and the danger she was in, fled the city. A accounts vary on her ultimate fate, but it is widely believed that she escaped to France, thus evading the legal repercussions of her actions. The events following the discovery of the torture chamber marked a turning point in New Orleans history. The public's reaction and the mob justice that ensued reflected the community's shock and the breakdown of order in the face of such heinous revelations. This chapter in the Lalaurie saga highlights the profound impact of the scandal on the city and its people, a reminder of the collective power of a community in seeking justice, albeit in a lawless and chaotic manner. In this section, we explore the turbulent aftermath of the Lalaurie mansion fire, focusing on the public's reaction and the spontaneous mob justice that emerged. It is a testament to the community's horror and repulsion at the dark secrets that had been lurking in the heart of their city. In the wake of the shocking revelations at the Lalaurie mansion, the city of New Orleans was left grappling with questions of justice and accountability. The legal response to the discovery of the torture chamber was a complex and frustrating process, reflective of the societal norms and legal limitations of the time. Despite the public outcry and the severity of the crimes uncovered, the legal proceedings against Delphine Lalaurie were mired in challenges. In an era when the rights of slaves were severely restricted and their status as human beings was often disregarded, securing justice for the victims proved to be a daunting task. Records from the period indicate that there were attempts to bring legal action against the Lalauries. However, these efforts were hampered by the limitations of the legal system and the social standing of the Lalauries. The lack of concrete legal consequences for Delphine Lalaurie's actions was a bitter pill for the community to swallow, highlighting the deep-seated injustices of the time. In the midst of this legal turmoil, Delphine Lalaurie orchestrated her escape. With the city in an uproar and her reputation in ruins, she fled New Orleans. Historical accounts suggest that she initially took refuge in the nearby swamps before eventually making her way to the Gulf Coast. From there, it is believed that she boarded a boat bound for France, effectively evading the reach of the law. Delphine Lalaurie's escape to Europe marked the end of her story in New Orleans, but not the end of her legacy. She remained a figure shrouded in mystery, her final years and ultimate fate becoming the subject of speculation and legend. In this section, we delve into the aftermath of the Lalaurie scandal, exploring the legal response to the atrocities and the dramatic escape of Delphine Lalaurie. This part of the story underscores the limitations of the justice system in the 19th century and the societal barriers that often hindered the pursuit of justice for the most vulnerable. In the years following the Lalaurie scandal, the line between fact and fiction has often blurred, giving rise to numerous myths and legends surrounding Delphine Lalaurie. As we delve into this part of the tale, it's important to separate the historical truths from the embellishments that time and imagination have added. One prevalent myth is that of Delphine Lalaurie as a sadistic serial killer, taking pleasure in the torture of her slaves. While the atrocities discovered in her mansion were undeniably horrific, some of the more sensationalized accounts of her action, often depicted in popular media, are not supported by historical records. The truth lies in the evidence of her brutal treatment of slaves, but the extent of her personal involvement in the torture is a matter of debate among historians. Another legend that has persisted is the claim that the ghosts of her victims haunt the Lalaurie mansion. Tales of paranormal activity have become a staple of the mansion's lore, attracting ghost hunters and tourists alike. However, these supernatural stories are more a testament to the mansion's dark history and the human psyche's fascination with the macabre than to any verified hauntings. The myth of Delphine Lalaurie's escape and subsequent life also varies widely in accounts. Some stories suggest she lived out her days in comfort in Paris, while others claim she returned to New Orleans under a new identity. The truth is that her life after fleeing New Orleans remains shrouded in mystery, with little concrete evidence to confirm any of these tales. In addressing the myths and legends surrounding Delphine Lalaurie, we confront the challenge of discerning fact from fiction in a story that has captivated the public's imagination for nearly 2 centuries. This section aims to untangle the web of stories, bringing to light the realities of a tale that has become a part of New Orleans' dark folklore. After the scandal that forever marred its name, the Lalaurie mansion embarked on a journey through time, passing through various hands and undergoing numerous transformations. This section explores the intriguing post-Lalaurie era of the mansion, a period marked by change and a continual struggle with its dark past. Following Delphine Lalaurie's flight from New Orleans, the mansion was left in a state of disrepair, a physical reminder of the atrocities that had taken place within its walls. It changed ownership multiple times, each owner grappling with the mansion's notorious legacy. In the late 19th century, the mansion was repurposed as a public high school, then a music conservatory, and later a tenement housing for immigrants. Each of these incarnations brought new life to the building, yet none could completely erase the shadow of its past. The 20th century saw the Lalaurie mansion transformed into a bar, a furniture store, and even an apartment building. These varied uses reflected the city's evolving landscape and the mansion's own journey from a symbol of horror to a historical landmark. In recent years, the Lalaurie mansion has become a site of fascination for both tourists and paranormal enthusiasts. Its infamous history has made it a subject of ghost tours and a point of interest for those intrigued by the macabre. The Despite these commercial exploitations, the mansion retains a solemn dignity, standing as a silent witness to the passage of time and the changing face of New Orleans. Today, the Lalaurie mansion remains a prominent feature of the French Quarter, its facade barely altered since the 1830s. It stands as a testament to the city's complex history, a building that has seen both the heights of luxury and the depths of human cruelty. In this section, we delve into the post-Lalaurie history of the mansion, a story of resilience and transformation. The mansion's journey through the years is a microcosm of New Orleans itself, a city that has continuously reinvented itself while never fully escaping the shadows of its past. The tale of Delphine Lalaurie and her infamous mansion has transcended time, leaving a lasting imprint on popular culture. In this section, we explore how the Lalaurie story has influenced literature, film, and television, becoming a part of the broader tapestry of American folklore. In literature, the Lalaurie legend has inspired numerous authors, who have woven elements of the story into their narratives. These works range from historical fiction to horror novels, each exploring the themes of cruelty, mystery, and the supernatural that surround the Lalaurie legacy. The mansion's dark history provides a rich backdrop for storytelling, inviting writers to explore the depths of human nature. The impact of the Lalaurie story is perhaps most evident in visual media. Films and television shows have frequently drawn upon the chilling tale, often blending fact with fiction to create compelling narratives. The story has been featured in various horror and paranormal-themed TV series, where the mansion's eerie past and alleged hauntings provide a perfect setting for tales of terror. One notable example is the portrayal of Delphine Lalaurie in the popular television series American Horror Story. In this adaptation, the Lalaurie character and her gruesome actions are central to the plot, albeit with significant artistic liberties taken. Such portrayals, while not always historically accurate, have played a significant role in keeping the Lalaurie legend alive in public consciousness. The story's presence in popular culture has also sparked debates about the ethical implications of fictionalizing real historical horrors. It raises questions about where the line should be drawn between entertainment and the respectful treatment of sensitive historical subjects. In examining the cultural impact of the Lalaurie story, we see how a tale rooted in real-life tragedy has evolved into a fixture of the horror genre and a subject of fascination for audiences worldwide. It is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and its ability to shape our perception of history. In our contemporary understanding, the Lalaurie story is more than a tale of individual horror. It is a reflection of the broader and deeply troubling issues of slavery, racism, and justice in American history. From a modern perspective, this story serves as a stark reminder of the atrocities that were a part of everyday life in the era of slavery. The brutal treatment of slaves in the Lalaurie mansion is emblematic of the systemic racism and dehumanization that characterized slavery in the United States. It underscores the harrowing reality that, for many, life was marked by relentless cruelty and injustice. Today, the Lalaurie story is also a catalyst for discussions about how we remember and represent our past. It challenges us to confront the uncomfortable truths of history and to acknowledge the enduring impact of slavery and racism on contemporary society. As we reflect on the Lalaurie saga through the lens of modern values and understanding, it becomes a powerful tool for education and awareness. It compels us to examine the darker chapters of our history and to strive for a future where such injustices are not just a thing of the past but a lesson to guide us towards greater empathy, equality, and justice. As we conclude our journey through the chilling tale of Delphine Lalaurie and her infamous mansion, we are left with a story that is as complex as it is horrifying. We have explored the depths of cruelty hidden behind the facade of high society in 1830s New Orleans, and the legacy of horror that has lingered long after. We've delved into the myths and realities, the cultural impact, and the modern implications of a story that has captivated imaginations for nearly 2 centuries. The Lalaurie mansion, once a symbol of opulence, now stands as a haunting reminder of the atrocities committed within its walls. This dark chapter in history teaches us valuable lessons about the capacity for inhumanity, the importance of justice, and the power of memory. It urges us to remember the victims, to acknowledge the brutal truths of our past, and to commit ourselves to building a more just and compassionate world. Thank you for joining us in exploring the harrowing tale of Delphine Lalaurie. May the stories of the past continue to enlighten our path forward, reminding us of the work still to be done in confronting the injustices of history and shaping a better future for all.